Hey everybody, Holly here. I am going to spend a little bit of time and talk about open houses today. So I've named this Not Your Typical Open House Training. I actually offer this course as a 3-hour CE class. This will not be 3 hours, but it really complements the Momentum Open House Boot Camp as well, although I've kind of given it a fresh, updated feel and brought in some strategies that are more relevant to what is going on now and really have dived a lot deeper than what you'll find in just the Momentum's version of the Open House Bootcamp. So as always, I want to just go ahead and put my information up here. Please feel free to reach out to me for clarification, or if you would like this slide deck as well, there's my email address. You can like my business page, Holly Fogel the 1 Hour Coach. You can find me on Facebook at Holly Servies Fogel. You can check out my website, and there is my phone number. So please always feel welcome to always reach out to me in any of these ways if I can clarify anything, go a little bit deeper, or help you implement some of the strategies. So when we hear something, we understand it. When we do something is when we actually start to learn it. So it's really the action that you take is what's going to increase your level of actually knowing what you're doing. So when you actually know something, you can then teach others. So typically when I teach a class, I like to reinforce 3 and 30. And what that is I would like for you to implement 3 of what you hear today, 3 strategies, tips, or tools within the next 30 days. So hopefully open houses are in your wheelhouse, and I'll talk a little bit more about why I think it's so important that everyone that's in real estate should be holding open houses. And again, education without implementation is just entertainment. So the goal of all training is for you to take action, and I really hope that you feel inspired to take action and do some open houses and put this into your business plan for 2019. To get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. So I often hear a lot of people say, oh, open houses are a waste of time. Nobody ever comes. They're so boring, blah, blah, blah. And yet they may try an open house again and again and again without implementing anything new. So this is true for anything. With anybody that I work with or coach or train, if you're not willing to take action, then there's probably not much I can really do for you. And the reason being is because you're going to stay exactly the same if you don't bring in something new or improve on a current skill that you already have. So action is really the goal, and sometimes you have to be learning-based and be open-minded to look at things a way that maybe you've never looked at them before. So a lot of this material may be challenging to your thought process or to your belief system, and I'm hoping to change some of that. If you've had a certain perception of open houses in the past, you will require some paradigm shifts to get the most out of this material. So try to be open-minded with everything in life, not just open houses, but really if you stay in a state of curiosity and don't feel like you already know everything and come from that place of, oh, I know it all, or I know what I know and I don't need to know more. Life really is a lot more fun, and I learn something new every day. I learn, oh, I was doing that wrong all along, or wow, I mean, I love being challenged. I think that, that's life. Like, that's what we're all supposed to do, is to be challenged, have fun, and to grow. So this will require you, if you have not done open houses, to do some new things. And I hope that you feel inspired to do just that. So Not Your Typical Training is a hashtag that I created, and I kind of laugh at myself because I created that hashtag and I have no idea what it means. I have no idea how to get to it or anything, but I am pretty much not your typical type of trainer, and I like to bring in material that's not your typical training. So today is all about open houses, and you're going to hear some stuff that maybe you haven't heard before, and hopefully it's some good ideas. So question of the day, what is the best case scenario work day for a salesperson that earns a commission for a living? So if you think about it, if you were to write out, and I actually have a lot of people do this, and we'll be doing this soon in the lifestyle number class, write out exactly what a perfect day looks like for you. And I say go all in, go crazy. Put in there back-to-back closings, got a referral, went on a listing appointment, wrote an offer that got accepted. I mean, everything that's a perfect win for you, I challenge you to write that down. And then I challenge you to decide how many of those perfect days you would like to have per week for 45 weeks in 2019. To me, when you're in sales and when your livelihood is really dependent on helping people buy and sell real estate, there's a common denominator when you think about all the types of lead generation. We have farming and we have buy owners and we have referrals and expireds, online lead generation. But really, when you come right down to it, the best case scenario for all of us, myself included, is to be face to face. That really is the best case scenario for our lead generation strategies. Face to face will trump everything else. It'll trump the mail. It'll trump leaving a voicemail. It'll trump getting an inquiry over online. It'll trump getting a referral over the phone. I mean, until you actually meet with people, there's no conversion that can actually occur. So we have to be face to face. And if you do an open house correctly and effectively, you're going to be face to face. So it's a win. It's just a win no matter how you look at it. Whether or not you build rapport effectively, convert people into clients, either present or future, find new sellers, whatever. It's all going to come down to your skill set when you're face to face. So starting out face to face is just a huge win right there. There just is no better way. So if you're not getting people to your open house, then that's a problem, that we can address, and a skill that can be addressed to how can we make sure that we do this effectively. Wonderful book, and I'm sure many of you have read it. And if you haven't read it in a while, I would encourage you to pick this back up, is The 7 Levels of Communication. It really hones in on working by referral and where you really have that influence over people. And you'll notice here it talks about the impact that all of our different advertising and lead generation techniques really have. And so many of them are in the informational zone where all you're doing is providing information. You're not really having the ability to influence anyone. So you'll notice that phone calls, events and seminars, and one-on-one meetings are the most effective, have the highest impact, the place where you can have an influence, and the place where you're able to really make new connections and grow your business. Yes, we're going to do things like advertising, direct mail, and email, but look how low email is as far as having an influence. That's why emails just have become so ineffective. It's like white noise. And handwritten notes kind of stay there right in the middle. Handwritten notes are very, very powerful. I hope that you've all incorporated handwritten notes into your weekly and daily activities. So why do open houses even get a bad rap? I hear a lot of different feedback from people when we talk about open houses. Some people are like, oh, I don't do open houses. That's like one that just always cracks me up. But anyway, I'm just doing them to appease the seller. I have nothing else to do, said no one ever, right? I can get some other work done while sitting there. Oh, there's a good game on Sunday that I can watch uninterrupted, right? These are things that I've actually heard people say, along with the canned, I don't do open houses. So sometimes we just need to analyze why we don't do them, or why am I holding an open house to appease a seller? Really walk through that whole thing. And I really, it's fun to do this in person. I'm recording it right now for y'all, but it is fun to have conversation around this. And so many of our limited beliefs just become so exposed, and it helps us push through those limited beliefs and change our belief system, so that when we do things, we're doing them proactively and intentionally, and we have such a better chance to win. So getting in the right mindset. So if you have a positive outlook, your chances for success are over 50% higher. That's why when I hear people say things like, oh, open houses are a waste of time, but I'm going to do one just to appease my seller, I'm immediately thinking, no, don't bother. I would much rather you spend time with your family and let your seller have access to their house all day. Oh my gosh, if you go into something with a mindset that it's not going to work, it's going to be a waste of time, that's exactly what you're probably going to get. It's the same thing with online leads and expireds. I get the same thing. Oh, online leads are all terrible. Oh, expireds hate people. Oh, FISBOs are so mean. It's all these limited beliefs that we have, and most of the time when I challenge the people to prove to me how they're a waste of time, what did you do in the prep? What did you do for follow-up? What did you do to prepare? How many expireds have you actually called in your lifetime? How many for sale by owners have you called in your lifetime? A lot of people have developed these beliefs from stereotypes and from the mouths of others. So we have taken on others people's opinions and we have formed them and turned them into our own belief system without trying to prove it. I can guarantee you one thing. Every single lead generation type of source that is out there, every single one is working for someone. Now, it might not be working for you, but it's working for someone. So everything works, just like every diet on the planet works if you'll follow it. Most people will trash things before they've ever even tried it. And that's where I'm trying to have people have a paradigm shift, that you need to prove yourself your reality. Stop letting other people rent space in your head. It's very unhealthy. It's stunting your own growth. And we can all do it so easily now because we have social media and we have Instagram, and we're constantly able to put our thoughts into other people's heads and turn our agendas into others. We're constantly trying to prove ourselves right instead of actually going out and proving ourselves right or wrong. We're just listening to other people, and it's very, very dangerous. So I do encourage you to find your own facts. A lot of times if things aren't working, it's because we don't have the proper skill, we don't have the right environment, or we don't have the right tools, or more commonly, our belief system is not in line with what we're trying to do. So if you're going to bring in open houses for 2019, I encourage you to get in the right mindset, which is really what you have to do with everything in real estate. It's such a head game. It's such a head game. Our beliefs drive our actions. So if I think that it's going to be a waste of time, I'm going to start about 24 hours before the open house. I'm going to put up 3 signs, and I'm going to go buy cookies and water on my way to the open house. And I'm going to fail miserably because my actions are in line with the fact that I already don't think it's worth it. So I'm certainly not going to put in any effort ahead of time to make it worth it because I don't think there's any reason to. So if you don't think that your beliefs drive your actions, you really need to sit down, you need to call me, and we need to talk about your beliefs, because I assure you, everything that you're doing is because of your belief systems and your core values. If you believe in them, you'll have a better chance at winning. So we love to share the financial consequences, the conversion tables of what can be if you will move through the phases of being consistent first. So the first phase is always you have to get consistent at something before you're ever able to be efficient or proficient. The good news is it doesn't have to be like year 1, year 2, year 3. You may move very quickly through these phases depending on how quickly you can actually become consistent. So if you'll notice, every one of these phases is 45 weeks, 2 open houses a week. Now, most people may cringe when they hear 90 open houses a year, and that's fine. If you're cringing, the good news is that you can adjust these numbers to fit your business model. But I will tell you that you're not going to get very proficient at something if you don't do it often enough. If I go out and play tennis twice a year, my game is not going to improve much. If I only get in front of people that I don't know, strangers, and try to build rapport and convert and ask the right questions, and guide them to want to work with me, to provide value, to articulate value. If I only try to do that twice a year, I'm probably not going to be that good at it. People are going to come and they're going to go, and they're going to come and they're going to go. And I'm not going to have the ability to work on my skill set. So one of the things you have to realize is that we are just as responsible for the outcomes in our business as anybody else. It's not, oh, I get a bunch of bad leads, or, oh, these people never call me back. That's a reflection on what we're doing. So there's a lot of self-reflection that needs to occur, and the people that understand that they need to improve themselves are the ones that really end up improving and have a great business. So we can't blame others. We have to take responsibility for the outcomes in our business. So you'll notice that you could go from 10 all the way to 41 deals closed, just by becoming proficient and doing 90 open houses. I could just say, I'm just going to do open house. I'm not going to do any other thing. I'm going to do 2 open houses a week. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it for 12 months. And I bet you I'd probably close more than 41. I would close more than 41. So I've seen people completely go off the charts with open house success. I love it. It's encouraging. It's inspiring. I know that it's true. These are people that I actually know. You know, I get excited by things that work, and I get excited when people want to take action, they want to get better, and they want to do a great job. That's what inspires me. You know, when you're a trainer, remember the goal of training is to take action. So when people don't take action, I feel like a failure. And it's the same thing for you. If you get a buyer and they don't end up buying a house, you're disappointed, because the goal of working with a buyer is to help them buy a house. When you take a listing, the goal is to help that seller sell. So if the house doesn't sell, you're disappointed. Well, that's the world that I live in, because the only goal of what I do is for people to take action. It's not to listen to myself because I sound crazy and weird. It's not for my health. I mean, my full passion in life is to help people feel inspired enough to either change their belief system, to lean into their belief system, and ultimately to take action. That's it. So everything that I teach, the passion, that's why I'm called the passionate presenter, because I have so much passion behind this, because I've seen it work for people. I'm not teaching things that are, ooh, it sounds good. I mean, I sold real estate for 11 years. I know how hard it is. I know how frustrating it can be. I know what a challenge your world is. I get it. And it's very challenging. So when I find things that are working, and I have access to information to share, to impart, to really try to help you grow, I get excited about it, because it also reminds me of how much better I could have been when I was in the selling world compared to what I actually was. I didn't have access to such great information, and you guys do. So the ones that actually take action and keep doing this and proving to me, you know, leaving the clues of success, that's what's encouraging me to keep spreading the messages, because I've seen it work. And that's why I get excited, and I'm hoping that you feel excited too. So there is a method to the madness. You know, you don't want to do a house out in the middle of nowhere, 55 miles away with no neighbors, that nobody would ever drive by. That's a mess. So if open houses do become part of your service commitment to your client, you may do some open houses that might not be in a high traffic area, might not show well. And income goals, you know, that's more if you're trying to do open houses for others. But if it is part of your service commitment to your sellers, then, you know, all of these may not align for every open house that you do, but you're going to still follow the things that we're going to talk about here that are going to give you the best bang for your buck and the best chances of having an effective open house. So hopefully it's in a high traffic area, it shows well, and it's in line with your income goals. So there's 3 stages to the open house. There's the before, there's the during, and there's the after. And most people do not realize this, and that's why they fail miserably and say things like open houses are a waste of time, or I don't do open houses. Okay, it's because they haven't really thought out a plan to be effective. So what they're doing is ineffective open houses, and yes, those don't work, and I wouldn't do them either. I'm only going to do something if it's proactive and intentional and it makes sense. So there's a whole host of things that you need to do before. So you want to try and start, if at all possible, 2 weeks prior. So I do encourage you, if it is part of your service commitments for your client, that you launch your open house in alignment with when it's going to hit the market. So there's so many cool strategies that you can do. You can have it go into the MLS on Friday. You can have comments in there that say no showings or offers before the open house that's being held on Sunday from 2 to 4. So you can create that pent-up demand. So you can almost ensure you're going to have people, even if it's people that are coming with an agent. Who cares? Like, there's enough for everybody, and we live in a world of abundance. So you have to be willing to do all kinds of things to expose that house. The goal may or may not end up being selling the house. Sometimes you'll sell the house, sometimes you won't. Probably 90% of the time you don't actually end up selling the house. It just depends, because a lot has to align for the right person to come into the right house the day that it's actually being held open. But there are so many opportunities that you can work from, just even in the promotional stage of the before time for the open house. So if you can have 2 weeks prior, that's a total win. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to. But I would encourage you to mail a letter to the entire neighborhood and draw from neighboring communities as well if you desire. Mailing the letter to everyone is going to give you the opportunity to get in front of that many more people with something to say. A lot of pushback I get about circle prospecting is, I don't want to call, I don't have anything to say. Well, now you have something to say. You're going to be talking about the open house and you're going to invite them. So you want to invite them. So you can check out this letter. I'm not going to go into all of it right now, but there are several things here that you're trying to do. You want to give them the opportunity to go into the Cloud CMA to get an instant neighborhood activity. That will provide you with their phone number, maybe their phone number, that's optional, but it will provide you with an instant lead if they click on that, if they go there, and I can show you how to create the URL, the shortened URL, taking people directly to your specific Cloud CMA so that they can do that. It's also going to let them see that you're different than everybody else. One of the biggest things we get, people are like, why should I pay you? What do you do different? What's the big deal about you compared to everybody else? I'm just going to use a discount broker. So we want to make sure that we are taking the opportunity to differentiate ourselves. And then there's a couple little things in here that have proven to be very effective, and have gotten the phone to ring, have gotten people to do it. And it's really by just using that little thing. I want to inform you that your neighbors at blah, blah, blah selected me out of 4,204 other realtors that work this area to help them move because I take an invested approach to getting homes sold. So that first sentence is really going to grab them in a way that they're not used to. They're going to be like, what's an invested approach? They chose you out of that many other realtors. And you can get, now we're almost up to, in Georgia, 90,000 agents in the state of Georgia. But you can actually reach out to NAMAR or ABR and find out how many members we currently have in those boards. And that way you can have a number that you can just use approximately. You don't have to get the update all the time, but that's information that we have access to. That's a powerful statement right there. So again, you're going to want to mail this. If you don't want to mail it, could you deliver it to 20 homes? Could you just deliver the letter to 20 homes? Sure, you could. You could even hire someone to deliver it to 50 homes. So we can absolutely do this. If you have the budget, mail it. If you don't have the budget, walk it. Get your kids to do it with a friend. You can get this letter out, and I encourage you to do it and invite all the neighbors. Knock on 10 doors. Notice it doesn't say knock on 100 doors. So many people are like, go walk the whole neighborhood. Well, I even have to admit, when I hear walk the whole neighborhood, I'm like, I don't want to walk the whole neighborhood. But shoot, could I do 10 doors? Oh my gosh, yes, and I probably need the steps anyway because I'm having a hard time getting to 10,000. I don't know about you. So, hi, my name is Holly, and I'm the realtor for your neighbors. As an added service, I'll be holding the Smiths Open on Sunday. I would like to invite you to tour the home in case you know any of your friends or coworkers in the area that might be interested in moving here. After touring the home, you'll be comfortable telling others about it, and I'll provide you with a package you can share. There's all kinds of scripts here. This is just an example just to get your mind kind of going. But I'm happy to sit and strategize on different strategies about what to say and how to say it and come up with things that, might be a little bit easier. Come by and have lunch and say goodbye to your neighbors. Are you thinking of making any changes this year, or do you have any questions? So again, you want to start that dialogue. One of the areas that I find agents are getting really bad about is meeting new people. It's meeting new people. You know, when I was in Buffini coaching, I had to go out and meet 5 new people a week to add to my database because I didn't really know anybody. That was very challenging, but it forces you to get out, to get up, get dressed, and get out. And what I'm finding is that we are cocooning like never before because of technology, because of the computer, because of Facebook, because of all this. And if you're not able to get those relationships that are online, offline, you're not going to build the business. You might have a lot of people following you. They might know your name, but it doesn't mean that they're using you or referring you when it comes time to real estate. So you really do have to get those relationships offline. So this gives you a chance to meet some new people. And that's what everybody tells me, oh, I got into real estate because I love people. And then they act like they don't like people at all because they never put themselves out there to meet people. So if you really truly care about helping people and you're passionate about it, then this actually should excite you about having open houses and getting in front of as many people as possible. Knocking on doors and introducing yourself should appease that should be very appealing if you love people and you just want to meet new people all the time. So you really have to make sure that your belief system is in line with what we're doing. I would encourage you to invest in a neighbor's welcome sign out front. Just go and have somebody make one. You probably can get one on Vistaprint. Neighbors welcome. A lot of times neighbors won't come to an open house because they don't want to be deemed the nosy neighbor, right? Maybe we should have a sign that says nosy neighbors welcome. But we want to make sure that we break down that barrier. So we want them to feel very comfortable, and that's what the letter and the invitation and the sign does right away. There's an agent that told me, it's her opening line now. She said, it's great. They come in and she says, oh my gosh, do you all live in the neighborhood or are you out looking for a new house? So she automatically takes off any pressure about people trying to figure out, you know, if you don't do that and they do decide to come, they're trying to figure out which role they're going to play. They're going to be like, all right, let's pretend we're in from out of state and we're just looking. We're just visiting some friends here. Let's not tell them that we're neighbors. So they're already trying to figure out what script they're going to be using and what role they're going to play. This takes away the need for that. And it also lets you know how you're going to follow up with people when you really know who they are and what they're trying to accomplish. You could do postcards or door knockers. Lean into your lenders, folks. Lenders have deep pockets, and a lot of them have a lot of marketing material that you can have access to. They just don't bother bringing it up because you haven't brought it up. So lean into your lenders and see what resources they have. A lot of times they'll have door knockers, or they'll have marketing materials or flyers. They'll have things. So if you are really tight with your lender, which I encourage every realtor to have a lender partner, your lender should be your teammate. Lean into your teammate and see what resources they have available for you. You might be surprised. So here's just some samples of different ones. And get creative, right? Get creative. Use in your marketing online and in your emails. Pick stuff that's not just the red and white open house. Get creative. Give it a different look. There's tons of stuff out on the internet. It's kind of fun. The prep time is really fun now because it really lets your marketing side come out. And if that's not in your wheelhouse, maybe you have a friend or your kids might be really good and creative, or maybe that's something that you outsource at some point if you have the budget. Signs. So when we talk about signs and how many signs to use, these are some of the faces that I typically get, because honestly, to be effective, now not just to hold an open house, but to hold an effective open house, we really got to push our little exercise muscle and budget muscle, and you need between 10 and 20 signs. You just really do. Signs are actually bringing in way more people than we thought if you're willing to go 1 mile to 2 miles out. So you analyze where the property is, you Google Zoom it, you zoom out, and you see where else you can string people along from. Try to get these signs in front of the house and in the neighborhood as early as possible. The ones at the front of the neighborhood, that's a great, go knock on those people's doors, even though they don't own that property, it would, it goes a long way for you to just say, hey, I'm having an open house on Sunday. I'm really trying to get a lot of people over for my clients. They're really trying to get moved. Would you mind if I put my sign out Thursday night? I will take it down as soon as the open house is over on Sunday at 4, but I'm really trying to help my clients get as much exposure as possible. That's actually very appealing to people. They're going to remember that you did that. And then you're going to invite them to come by as well. So this pushes it a little bit, but nobody that's ever gone through the effort to put up all the signs has ever regretted it. So you got to think about that. Open house, there's all kinds of creative signs out there. There's letters like this, even larger and higher. I love them. You can get them, I think it's called discount banners and signs. I'll have to look it up if you're interested. But anyway, they're really cool. This stands out. This lets everybody else in the neighborhood know that you're a little crazy. Like, you got big open house sign, you're all in, you do things that are different. I know people that use the balloon, whatever it is, but try to stand out and do something a little different. They have teardrop open house signs like this. Again, these are eye-catching. There's something different. You could put a few of these out. It's just going to stand out and do something different. And that's what it's all about. People are tired of the ho-hum. It's the difference. The people that differentiate themselves are the ones that are getting noticed. And of course, that just makes sense. So then you want to make sure you notify your entire database. And I would encourage you to do this with a video email. BombBomb is the best product that I have found. I promote them all the time because I'm just absolutely in love with the product. I love using BombBomb. They're always adding to their tools. They're having their first ever video summit this year in Denver in May. I'm super excited. I'm going, as well as several friends of mine that are coming out to Denver to attend as well. I want to try to do video better. I understand the impact that video is having on not only notification like this, but deepening of relationships, strengthening of relationships, follow-up, and lead conversion. Video is where it's at. So I'm not one that promotes video so much of go out and do a ton of Facebook Lives so that people know who you are. That's branding. And branding has its place in our business. But I will tell you that I encourage people to use video to strengthen relationships and convert more leads into opportunities. And that is absolutely a win for people that are using it. I can show you all kinds of cool things with video. We'll probably do a lot of video in 2019. So if that is one of your goals, that's one of the things that you want to do, then you're going to want to dial in and tap into a lot that we'll be talking about in video next year. Make sure you do a video of the house and provide that to the seller to share to their whole database. So whatever you end up doing to your database, you should do one that you can also send to your seller and say, hey, could you forward this to everybody? The person that wants your house might be right inside your database and we don't even know it, because everyone you know knows another 200 to 500 people. So again, it's kind of getting that out there. And who do all of the sellers' contacts see? You. They see that you're different, you go the extra mile, you differentiate yourself, you are full service. So it's a great way for you to just plug your own service as well. But again, the buyer may really come from their database. Make sure that you ask people to share it. So when you put things on Facebook, it's not always just enough to just post it. I would encourage you to always ask people to share it. When people ask me to share things, I'll always do that. If they don't ask me to share it, I just don't even think about it. I don't know. I'm like, why would I share it? But then when someone's like, hey, would you mind sharing this? I'm like, oh, we'll share it. And then it goes to all 790 people that I know. So it's just, that's how things multiply. But you've got to be putting it out there and asking people to share it. So make sure you do that as well. Share in the office Facebook account, right? So go into the office account and make sure you're sharing that and asking the agents to attend. Sometimes people would say, oh, let's just create an open house, Facebook group, and we could do that as well. But I encourage you to try to attend each other's open houses if it's near you and you have a couple of minutes that you could swing by. We all need to support each other in our ventures and in our business and in what we're doing, and that would just go a long way. Ask your agents to stop by. You can create an ad in Facebook and you can pick a direct audience, the audience that you think is most likely going to be the person that's going to end up buying the house. And you probably know that. So you can do that kind of stuff. If you want help with creating Facebook ads, I'd be more than happy to help you. Boosting is kind of like dead. It's not really effective anymore. So I wouldn't encourage you to boost per se, but ads can be extremely effective and very cost effective if you do them right. So I'm going to probably end up taking the boosting video ad off. Again, you're also going to put it on your personal page and your business page. Put it to Instagram, Twitter, etc. Whatever social places you're at, make sure you put it there as well. Oops, sorry about that. Make sure that you add that there as well. So those are some of the things you're going to do before, just to start that exposure. I also encourage you to go live like 2 weeks before and do a Facebook Live announcing that you'll be holding the open house in a few weeks, kind of a coming soon, if you will. And then like the week of the open house, I would encourage you to go on and talk about things that are near the house. So not necessarily like, oh, I'm doing an open house again, but appeal to things that are close by. Like, hey, if you know anybody that loves dogs, this house is located right near a dog park, or oh, it's right near the hospital system, or so great shopping. So that you start talking about things of the community, and you got to keep those Facebook Lives to like 30 seconds or less. Not real long, but again, things like that. Then we have the day of, right? The day of prep. This, again, you're going to know all this stuff. It's very self-explanatory, and I'm happy to share the slide deck so you can have this later to go back and look at it. The ad, so what to have on hand, right? You want to have goodie packs. Have a party attitude. If people are coming to your open house, there is a good chance they are going to other open houses as well. So you want to make sure that after they've gone to 3 or 4 open houses, they remember yours out of everybody else. You're upbeat, you're enthusiastic, you know how to build rapport, you gave them goodies, you had good food, the house was great, you provided lots of value. You kind of created a new friendship, and that's what you're trying to do. You need to stand out compared to everybody else, especially during open houses, because there is a good chance that they may be going more than just yours. So put together little kits, and we can kind of talk about these in class. You know, we're constantly adding to these. So how to protect yourself when buying a home, the tax records, surrounding properties, a great color brochure of the property. Remember, sellers are going to be coming. So sellers want to see what you do for the client. So you're kind of secretly being interviewed when homeowners in the neighborhood come into your open house. So make sure that you have good marketing materials, the property disclosure, any information about the neighborhood, and you put all this stuff together. Have a buyer brochure. You should have all this in a nice folder. I would bring 10 folders and feel like, all right, I need to get 10 people through this house, come heck or high water. I want to make sure these packets get into 10 people. The books that you have at the office, oh my God, the home buying books and the home selling books, yikes. I would be bringing those to the open house for sure. And trying to get those into the hands of potential clients, right? The needs and wants analysis sheet, the criteria sheet. When they see that you actually help people through the process of figuring out what's a need versus a want and undesirables, and you have a process that not only helps people find the home that they want, but more importantly, want the home they get, when you're able to articulate in that such a way and then provide value by giving them stuff, they're going to remember you. They absolutely will. They're going into open houses. They're not getting anything. Half the people are like, look around the house. Let me know if you have any questions. I mean, they're holding open houses terribly. It's a shame. It is a shame what I've seen when I've gone into new construction neighborhoods and visited some open houses. Unbelievable. Trust me, you can really, really shine by putting some of this into place. Keep it all in a folder. Right? Then we need to talk about registration. You want to make sure that you get people's information. I encourage you to hand everybody their own clipboard. To me, if I was walking around with a clipboard and it had a few questions about the house, and then my information that I put in the bottom, asking them if they want something like, hey, would you like to be notified every time a deal hits the market in your particular search criteria? Hey, would you like my full-blown home buying packet? Hey, would you like the home loan toolkit? Like offering them things. They'll say, yes, I want that. Yes, I want that. Well, they have to give you their email address and their address to be able to get that. You could also tell them that you're going to put them into a drawing that night. Everybody that attends the open house will be put into a drawing for a gift card for maybe gas or a Visa card or a restaurant, maybe something that's near that open house. That's a great way also to get people to fill out the information. I also encourage you not to feel like you have to bombard them right away and get them to fill things out, because when they first walk in, they don't know you. They're kind of nervous, and we're asking them for information before they've had a chance to kind of loosen up. So, staying close by while people are walking through the house and just being conversational, building rapport, asking questions. Have all of the clipboards and stuff located not in the kitchen. Try to make leave the kitchen, because the kitchen is the most sought out feature for people when selecting a home. Is typically the kitchen's number one. So don't clutter it with all the junk. Keep all that stuff in the dining room or the family room. And so have those in an area where there's plenty of them around, not just one. That's another big mistake I see people do. They just have one little clip area, and they ask right when people walk in, and the people don't feel comfortable, so they say Mickey Mouse, like they don't know you yet. So think about giving each participant their own clipboard and asking for feedback. Just ask 2 or 3 questions, not a lot, but that way they're holding on to it and they're going to be more inclined to do it. If you're using registration, just sheets, then make sure you go ahead and fill out a few of them, a few of the slots completely. Most people will do what they've seen other people have done. So just go ahead and fill it in with, friends' information or your family. And again, we have the needs and wants sheet, and there's just a sample of a registration. Again, here, your feedback is welcome. What's the best feature and benefit of the home in your opinion? Do you feel the home is worth the price listed? Could you see yourself living in here? How did you hear about the open house? That's also a good thing to do when people just walk in. Hey, how'd you hear about the open house? I just want to see which marketing is working. Oh, we saw it on Zillow, because you do want to make sure you put it on Zillow and all the places online. So make sure that you put it all those places. I think I have them on the slides here, but just in case, I'll run through them. And again, would you like our home buying master kit? Would you like to know when deals hit the market? So again, you're offering things. We all just want to ask for things without giving first. That's Gary Vee's whole big thing. Give, ask. Give, ask. You got to give before you really open yourself to get. You can use Open Home Pro if you have a tablet. That's another great one. And so I've gone to the during here, so I don't know if I didn't have the slide in here, if it just always comes up in class. Make sure you put it on openhouses.com, which is filtered from the MLS. So put your open house there, put it on Remax, put it on Zillow. Make sure that you're putting that on all the online places ahead of time. So the bottom line is, during, you have to engage. If you don't engage with people during the open house, then it's almost like, why have the open house? And this is really where the rubber hits the road when it comes to your skill set on how to build rapport and how to ask a lot of good questions. And that's what you need to be doing. So you want to be asking questions so that you can classify all the customers, and you may really have to just get out of your comfort zone to do this. If you're not regularly being in front of people that you don't know and regularly asking people all these kinds of questions to build rapport, which I find a lot of agents are not, they're working by referral. And so those referral leads come to them where they have very little qualifying to do because they already know the person's going to work with them. Here, you're trying to endear people. You're trying to attract people to want to work with you. So in my opinion, this is really where the rubber hits the road. This is where you need the most skill. And it's where I find most agents are very unskilled. Not you guys, but a lot of other people are very unskilled. And it's here, and it's because they don't practice, and it's because they don't do this enough, and it's because they've gotten so comfortable working by referral, which requires very little skill in conversion, that it's a place that we just need to work on. We just need to get better. It's not that we're bad people. It's just that, ooh, I got to get better at that. I mean, I still get a knot in my stomach when I go to a party and I don't know people. I'm like, oh God, what am I going to say? I mean, I still struggle with that. So it's something that we have to work on, and you just have to admit it. Just admit, I think I could be better in this area. And then you can get better. But if you don't even admit that there's an issue here, then that's going to be a problem. Then you're going to continue to get the same results from your open house that you've gotten before. So enter the open house. Go here with a strategy that you want to try to fill 2 appointments for the week. And it's really helpful if you already know what 2 time slots you have open that you're trying to fill, because then you can be more proactive in asking for people to do that. So the time frame is going to determine, are they an A, B, or a C, right? And I think most everyone here pretty much knows the A, B's, and C's. You know, who's got the deadline, who doesn't, you know, who's going to be homeless if they don't make an offer. You've got to figure out their A, B, or C, their level of motivation, and where they're currently living. Those are really the 2 things, but don't just come right out and ask it. So you really have to get crafty at how you build rapport and how you ask these questions. And I'm happy to sit and chat with you about ways to really have these good conversations, to get the information from people that you really need to make it an effective open house. So just a couple of things. Welcome, come on in. Do you live in the neighborhood? Are you out looking for a new house? Oh my gosh, do you know people that live here in the neighborhood? What has you looking in this area? How'd you hear about the open house? So cool that you're in the market to buy. What's going on? I mean, you've got to just be real conversational and not scripted. If you're scripted, they're going to get real nervous. They can read a scripted person a mile away. So it's all about meeting friends and seeing how you can help people. That needs to be in your mindset. Check it out. I really was encouraged. I've kind of changed my tune on this. So when I first created this, see how we change and grow and learn? I had in here, you have a better chance at engaging toward the end of the visit in many instances. Well, I interviewed someone who was killing it with open houses, and I had such an aha moment when I had talked about, so do you kind of let them walk through the house themselves and then try to build rapport? And in that moment, this person said to me, no. If I wait until the end, they're ready to get the heck out of there. It's too late. And he said, and I know that my skill really is in asking questions and making new friends. So he already knew that that was pretty much in his wheelhouse, that's where he was going to hit it out of the park. So no, he walks through the house with people, and he talks to them, and he's just like, hey, check this out. And I mean, he's just real conversational. And that made me realize that, waiting till the end could very well be a big mistake. So I'm kind of glad that I left this in here. I'll probably change the slide at some point, but I kind of like leaving it in, because see how we can change and grow based off of learning a new technique or a different point of view. And you guys probably have tons that you could be adding in right now too, that when we do a class live, please make sure you bring all that. That's how we all get better, is because of all the experiences that people bring in, positive experiences of things that are working. And if there's things that don't work, we probably need to analyze those too. Does it not work because we didn't do it right? Or does it not work because, this just isn't a good idea? I mean, sometimes we need to analyze a lot of things. So I have changed my tune on that. But you can self-reflect on what you've done in the past, and you might be like, no, it really works like a charm. I let them walk through the house, and then I know exactly what kind of questions to ask, and I'm really good at the end. So I think everyone will be a little bit different. We might have a little bit of everything there, and that's okay. This is not like one size fits all. And it's not like you have to do everything in here. It's just number 3 and 30. Are there 3 nuggets you can take from today and implement in your next open house that hopefully you're going to have in the month of January? So time frame is the most important thing that you can obtain, because that will dictate your follow-up. And your follow-up is part of your lead conversion hour in your activities management system. So here are just some questions here that you can go through. The phrase that pays, I have a proactive and intentional approach that not only helps my clients find the home they want, but more importantly, want the home they get. That really is the phrase that pays. That's what, it's a pattern interrupter that people are not, expecting to hear, and then they want to find out more. So that's a great way for you to try to get them to commit to a strategy session with you. The after, who attended, right? You need to do a self-assessment. A lot of times when I'm working with agents and they're doing open houses, on Monday, we sit down and go through the registration together, and they just read off, Joe and Sally, they were in and they are renting an apartment and they're not looking until June. Sue and whatever, they live in the neighborhood and they were just curious what the house looks like. I'm going to be putting them on a safe search to keep them updated with neighborhood information. Joe, you know what? He got in, he was stealth. He got in and got out. Shoot, I don't even know who he was. But when you can go back through every single person that attended the open house and you're able to tell someone else who they were, what their time frame was, what your next step is with them, that's going to dictate whether or not you had an effective open house. I hear way too often, ooh, I had 15 people at my open house. I'm like, oh my God, that's fantastic. You have 15 new clients. What's going on? And that's what I hear. It's deer in the headlights. It's like, well, no, but I think one of them is going to make an offer on the house. I'm like, well, what about the other 14? Like, the whole purpose of having the open house is to make connections, to engage. So if you need help in the engagement process, please ask for it. There's no shame in this. Like, we're not all born open house holders. Like, there has to be some time where you learn how to do this stuff. And you have to be willing to, I don't care if you've been in real estate for 20 years. It does not mean that you hold effective open houses. So do not be so proud as to think that you may not need some skill development. Or if you're doing things that are killing it, please share. Like, that's how we all grow. So I'm trying to tell people how to do it better, but I certainly want to hear from you if you're like, hey, I do this and it works great. You need to be sharing that information so that we can all grow. I don't know it all. I really rely on all of you to help give me my material because I'm taking things from people that it's actually working. So all of this has just been designed from people that have been willing to share what they've been doing at open houses. So this is all hands-on application that is being used in 2018. Thank you notes. Make sure that they all get a thank you note if you're able to get their information, right? Try to look them up on Facebook. If you do a drawing, you can say, hey, like my Facebook page, and tonight at 8 o'clock, I'll be doing the drawing for the giveaway. That's a great way to get people to go ahead and like you on Facebook, and then you're connected. If you do a video message, fantastic. If you would like some samples of video messages from people that send those, I'll be happy to provide you with that information. So just shoot me a text, call me, or message me that you would like to see some video samples. I know some folks that do that, and I'd be happy to share that. Put everybody on a property search immediately, right? And then make sure that you have some type of next step with them within the next week. It has to be within the next week. If a week goes by, it's too late. They're gone. You're gone. It's over. It turned out it was not an effective open house. So make sure you do that. So remember this in everything that I teach, the fortune is in the follow-up. And however I can help you, I want to be that resource. So please reach out. Please let me know. I'm here. I'm happy to help any way that I can. I hope you got 3 nuggets. If you did, I would love for you to post that, what your 3 nuggets were. If you have 3 nuggets that I didn't talk about, I'd really like to hear that too, because that'll help me refine my presentation. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing all of you real soon.